I was protected by the headless ghost king when I was born. Not only did the legendary General Snowmaster perform surgery on me personally, but also a ghost fairy who had practiced for 1,000 years came to propose marriage. Even the dragon lady was willing to risk her life to save me. I was born in a yin year, yin month, and yin day. People call it a yin child. The children born at that time are called white ghosts. Once a yin child cultivates on the track, his cultivation speed will be 100 times faster than that of ordinary people. He is the best choice for evil ghosts to take over. Therefore, I also became the target of the white ghosts. That year, July 15th, the ghost gate opened wide. My mother came to this remote village with a big belly, but after knocking for a long time, only old man Lee opened the door. He saw that my mother was pregnant and had a change of heart, so he asked her to go in quickly. But at this time, the old lady next to him stopped her awkwardly and told her not to bother with her, because she recognized that this was an extremely vicious evil spell. Now the fetus is on the verge of death. If the fetus dies, her obsession will be gone. When the time comes, she will turn into a ghost who gave birth to a boy and take scissors to find a nearby woman to be her substitute. After hearing this, old man Lee hurriedly said, "Why don't you deliver the baby as soon as possible?" But Granny Long counted on her fingers and said that the baby can't be born because it will be the purple night soon. Tonight's purple time is the yin year, yin month, yin time. Yin mother dies and yin child is born. White ghosts laugh, living people cry, and yin child is born with psychic powers. Once you practice the track, your cultivation speed will be 100 times faster than that of an ordinary person. You will be the best candidate for the evil spirits to capture. Now all the ghosts within 100 miles are staring at this place, wanting to formally kill you. But when old man Lee heard this, he didn't show any fear at all. He couldn't bear it. He pulled out his big knife and cut off the centipede in my mother's belly. In his early years, he was a soldier and had used this knife to cut off hundreds of Japanese devils and bandits. So the evil spirit of the big knife hit me, and I fell out of my mother's belly. Granny Long held me and showed me. The baby was born. In the end, old man Lee collected money and found that there was no egg in my body. Grandma Long started to explain that the child was put into this woman's belly by someone. How could there be an egg? The technique of breastfeeding is to take the newly formed child out of the body and put it into the body of the woman who was born on Yingnian Yin Day with the 5 poisonous points. If the child is not delivered evenly after maturity, the woman will be tortured to death. This will result in 2 lives being lost. The strength of the 2 souls was cancelled. They were completely unconscious and only obeyed the person who cast the spell. Only a blood feud would seek revenge. Not only would the child be harmed, but the child's biological parents would also be cursed. The whole family would die and turn into lonely ghosts after death. Therefore, the underworld would not accept them. Grandma Long said. Dad touched my mother's head and said, "Girl, you have worked hard." At this time, my mother took out a jade pendant and some gold needles. These are the child's ancestral items. I will repay you for your kindness in my next life. Grandma Long wiped the tears from her eyes when she saw this. Don't worry, this I will raise my child to adulthood. My mother spat out a mouthful of blood and fell to the ground. Suddenly, a strong wind blew around. It seemed that someone was calling out to old man Lee. Don't respond to them. That's the ghost calling the ghost. The door has been opened. These dirty things can't wait. Send the child to the house quickly. After hearing this, old man Lee was stunned for a moment and asked them. At this time, I saw that Grandma Long stepped on the curtain with 1 foot and chopped it 3 times. Invite the 8th master to possess the body. The old woman and these beasts heard that the situation was urgent. Old man Lee hurriedly hugged me and returned to Grandma Long's house and briefly described the matter. Grandma Long's son was called Wang San. Wang San was an honest and filial man. He wanted to go out to help, but was stopped by old man Lee. Because Wang San is just an ordinary person and he didn't inherit the art of riding a horse. This is a great favor from your mother. Your mother asked you to take him to the roof and sit there. No matter what happened, you were not allowed to speak or move. The 8th master took his own heart-binding rope and whipped the finger man who hadn't come close. He screamed and disappeared into the air. However, the dead man who was lucky enough to eat the animal clothes also came to share a piece of the prey. When he finished speaking, he suddenly felt a gloomy air behind him. He turned around and saw a huge ghost with its mouth wide open, trying to swallow him. Fortunately, at the critical moment, old man Lee took out his knife and killed the ghost. The moon in the sky was now shining dimly. The primordial Ming gradually came in all directions. All the ghosts and monsters gathered around. The sound of ghosts crying and wolves howling filled the whole yard. Seeing this, the face of the headmaster changed drastically. Tengu Banyue was left with only half of his blood. He realized that something was wrong and immediately, "What the hell is going on? This is such a fierce weather phenomenon. I won't accompany you anymore." Wang San sat on the roof holding the seal, not daring to move. Only Wang San's wife was left in the house, trembling. The headless ghost shouted and rushed over, tearing the evil ghost into 2 halves. Outside the back window, a hanging ghost was unable to operate under the pressure of the seal and could only stretch its smelly tongue into the house. I took my tongue and bit it. Wang San's wife was stunned and stood there. He couldn't understand why the newborn baby had teeth. The ghost outside the window was horrified and fled far away without looking back. At this time, there were more and more dirty things outside the house. Granny Long knew that when the last incense ash circle was infected by the yin qi and lost its effect, these evil ghosts would be completely unstoppable. What are you afraid of? The 2 of us can fish out the bones and drag them away. Hearing what old man Lee said, Granny Long was silent for a moment and then shouted to the house, "Sangwa, take your wife and children and run quickly. Mother will block it for you." Before I could answer these questions, the headless ghost suddenly held me and flew away. It will turn into an ordinary doll. As he said, a minute later, the corpse that was still chasing the ghosts and biting them was suddenly tied up. The ghosts around were ready to move again. "Don't move that doll," old man Lee shouted and was about to rush over, but was stopped by Grandma Long. "Stop. If you ordinary people go there, you will die," he said as he took out a mysterious bone from his arms. "I will take it. The 1,000-year-old wrong soul bone will turn into a powerful ghost on the spot to stop them. You bring your—" The child said, "Run!" The headless ghost sword suddenly became frightened. "No, you will never be reincarnated." The eyes of the dragon grandmother were full of determination. At this point, this is the only way to go. He was on the move. Then there was a violent shaking. The biting cold froze the evil spirits who were touched by the cold air and froze to death before they could react. Changba was so cold that his body shrank into a ball. The ant lady and the dragon lady seemed to realize something and looked terrified. It was the one who came down from the ground. As soon as the words fell, a figure more than 3 meters tall slowly rose from the ground. Blood-stained iron chains were wrapped around her body one by one. The ends of the iron chains were. There are still dozens of evil ghosts hanging on it. You can only take care of yourself, Aunt Grandma said, and then disappeared in a hurry. Common people pay homage to the brave general. The brave general, old man. Li listens to the doubtful inquiry. Is this a fairy? The dragon lady answers with a plain face. He can't be called a fairy, but he is a legend who walks the right path. His real name is Hanhu. He is the son of a family of 100 people. He is born with supernatural power and is very brave. But he is also a bit stupid. After his parents died early, he lived a life of poverty. Fortunately, he was taken in by Mr. Chow in the mountains and treated him as his own son. Mr. Chow's only daughter, Koilin, is a famous beauty in the area. After a long time, she actually developed a friendship with his simple and honest brother. The two of them got married, but the news of Quilan and Hanhu's deliberate behavior aroused the jealousy of everyone, especially a bully named Hu Ermao. Hu Ermao. There was a brother who was always unhappy and lawless. When he heard that Quilan was getting married, he went to Lao Chao's house to snatch Liang's parents. Hu Ermao and others were no match for the stupid tiger, so they came up with a vicious plan to lure them away. When Hanhu returned home and saw the green silkworm, he vowed to take revenge and slaughtered all of Hu Ermao's family. After his revenge, Hanhu often knelt in front of his relatives' graves for 9 days until he became a corpse, buried in ice and snow. Because of his loyalty and righteousness, the emperor appointed him as a brave general. Later, he turned into a mountain god to guard one side. I don't know why he came to snatch Ji Yin this time. At this time, the brave general slowly walked into the yard. The ghosts around him seemed to be frozen. Following the inability to act, the day I was born, the gates of hell opened wide. Born with good fortune, I was fought over by white ghosts. Not only did the ghost immortals who had cultivated for thousands of years covet my body, but even the mountain god, General Snowmaster, who was buried deep underground, was alarmed. When General Snowmaster appeared, all the ghosts were frozen. I was still a baby, so I stretched out my hand with reluctance. He looked at me with deep eyes. I don't know what he was thinking. At this time, Changba Ye's sword form scared him again. He immediately changed back to his original form. The Snowmaster was about to take action. If I didn't leave, I would be dead. Just as he finished speaking, the Snow Division General suddenly pulled off a chain from his body. The pulling force caused the person behind him to be chained. When Hanhu returned home and saw the green silkworm, he vowed to take revenge and slaughtered all of Hu Ermao's family. After his revenge, Hanhu often knelt in front of his relatives' graves for 9 days until he became a corpse, buried in ice and snow. Because of his loyalty and righteousness, the emperor appointed him as a brave general. Later, he turned into a mountain god to guard one side. I don't know why he came to snatch Ji Yin this time. At this time, the brave general slowly walked into the yard. The ghosts around him seemed to be frozen. Following the inability to act, the day I was born, the gates of hell opened wide. Born with good fortune, I was fought over by white ghosts. Not only did the ghost immortals who had cultivated for thousands of years covet my body, but even the mountain god, General Snowmaster, who was buried deep underground, was alarmed. When General Snowmaster appeared, all the ghosts were frozen. I was still a baby, so I stretched out my hand with reluctance. He looked at me with deep eyes. I don't know what he was thinking. At this time, Changba Ye's sword form scared him again. He immediately changed back to his original form. The Snowmaster was about to take action. If I didn't leave, I would be dead. Just as he finished speaking, the Snow Division General suddenly pulled off a chain from his body. The pulling force caused the person behind him to be chained. Everything disappeared as if nothing had happened. Old Man Li breathed a sigh of relief. He had to wait until he could speak. Hearing this, Old Man Li panicked. It would take another year or two. How could he survive? According to the situation, today, we can't survive for a day or two. Granny Long replied solemnly, there is only one way now. Then the two of them hurried to the snow-capped mountains. Looking from afar, the 10,000 years old stood on the top of the mountain with ease and pride. The two old men kept looking at the snow-capped mountains. It was not until noon that we climbed to the top of the mountain. The dragon lady carefully placed the offering she brought under the light pine tree, and she was still muttering something in her mouth, and a brother was formed. Seeing this, the dragon lady's face changed slightly. I know this, Daxiong, but I can only come to you to ask for help, Songlao. Little girl, it's not just for this child, but also for the rich old people in the village. If the white ghost comes again, I can't resist it. We all have to accompany this child to the grave. The dragon lady kept kowtowing while speaking. The bright red blood fell on the white snow. It was particularly eye-catching. At this time, Old Man Li took a step forward and walked to the 1,000-year-old pine tree. I, Old Li, do not believe in gods and ghosts, and I will kowtow to heaven and earth. But if you are willing to help, Old Li will kowtow to you. He suddenly knelt on the ground and kowtowed heavily. After a long time, a breeze blew in the wind. Again. It seemed that a sound of pine oil could be heard faintly. The pine branches fell to the ground. Old Man Li held the pine branches and asked curiously what it was. When Grandma Long saw it, her face lit up. This is the pine oil we need. There is also pine oil. What is the pine tree you gave us? A pine tree this big? Hearing this, Granny Long smiled and replied, You will know how powerful this pine tree is in a while." Then the two old people went down the mountain and returned to the village. As soon as they got home, Granny Long started digging the soil in the yard. Old Man Lee was a little confused. "What are you doing? Aren't you going to save that kid? What time are you still planting trees?" As soon as he finished speaking, he suddenly froze in place. He saw that the small pine branch he had just bought had grown stronger. Then the pine branch became thicker and thicker. In a few breaths, it grew into a meal. Tian Da came out first. After hearing this, the eighth master asked, "Can it be done in 1,000 years? Anything is fine?" The dragon Granny Wenyan showed a half-hearted look. "Even if you have 1,000 years, you have 1,000 years." The eighth master was a little envious of you when he saw this scene. "What kind of expression is that? Even if I am a little bit worse, you still don't allow my ancestors to be rich." When everyone heard this, their eyes suddenly brightened. How could they forget about the shed skin of snakes? The snake's energy turns into ash in 500 years, and the energy turns into glue in 500 years. If you want to go further, you have to ride the water and head straight to the sea. This is also the reason for many floods. Above the rubber is the ball dragon, and above the horned dragon, the hard dragon. Our ancestors also like to shed their skins. Isn't it easy to take it off quickly? When Chang Bai said this, he showed a proud look. After hearing this, Long Po Po hurriedly thanked excitedly. "Thank you, Chang Bai." Chang Bai was a little embarrassed at this time. "This is equivalent to dragon skin. I gave you this treasure. Can you please stop mentioning the previous escape from the battlefield? You are so angry." The grumpy headless ghost snorted coldly. "Stop talking nonsense and hurry up." Grandma Long smiled and tried to smooth things over. How could Grandpa Chang Ba escape from the battlefield? Teacher Lin wanted to go out to get help. He didn't waste any more time. His face became serious. Then he pinched his fingers and said to the few people, "Everyone guard this place well and don't slack off." Grandpa Chang Ba and the headless ghost responded seriously. Grandma Long then dropped the last drop of pine oil into my mouth. My throat was immediately filled with a cool and sweet taste was swallowed into my stomach involuntarily. Then I used the pine oil to cover her whole body. Hearing what Long Po Po said, Chang Ba Ye immediately started to act. Her stomach churned a few times and she vomited a leg full of Ching Ling. Under Long Po Po's spell, the leg then wrapped around me in circles, except for the eyes, nose, and mouth. Seeing this, Old Man Lee looked at Long Po Po anxiously. This child is not right. Can Jin help him? Granny Long was worried. The alliance thought of a way. After a moment, his eyes lit up and he seemed to have an idea. Then he shouted to Old Man Lee, "Old Lee, take out the things left by the child's mother." After hearing this, Old Man Lee fumbled in his pocket in a hurry, and then took out the jade pendant and silver needle that my mother gave him before she died. Granny Long didn't dare to delay. The alliance cast a spell and passed the jade pendant to my hand. At the moment when the jade pendant was in my hand, the warmth of thought spread into my heart. The illusory dragon shadow once again tightened. Its force to resist it, and the silver needle was instantly absorbed by my body. I slowly fell back to the table after returning to normal. A flying dragon appeared behind me. Just like that, at a young age, I not only wore earrings, but also got a tattoo to become a member of society. Seeing this, Granny Long finally breathed, a sigh of relief. She walked up to me and held me in her arms. "This child is really full of disasters. From now on, call her Ju-Man." Old Man Lee came forward and reminded me that there was a word Hua on the back of the jade pendant, so the child's surname should be Hua. Grandma Long looked at me lovingly in her arms and felt relieved. The child was called Hua Ju-Man. Time passed quickly. 5 years later, I grew up peacefully under the careful care of the two elders. During this period, I was also Xiao Ju. What was she going to do when she went to collect herbs that year? Hearing her question, my grandmother answered in a childish way, "To treat my third uncle's illness. When my third uncle recovers, he can take me to catch toads." Grandma would not cry anymore. After hearing this, she sighed helplessly. "I'm afraid your uncle won't get well. When I was born, the spirit dragon lady gave me a 1,000-year-old dragon body just to let me survive the ghosts. But this also completely cut off my path of cultivation. She thought I would grow up safely in the future. But I didn't expect that a strange thing happened to me again when I was 5 years old. At that time, the village was suddenly infected with plague. Even the strong uncle was sick. The doctor invited by the town, all of them were helpless. They could only tell Grandma Long to prepare the food in advance. Old man, I have taken all the medicine I can take. Grandma Long, you have also used the methods of the spirit medium. The rest cannot be fought with life." After hearing the doctor's words, the pregnant third aunt cried bitterly. My old bones will also be sacrificed sooner or later. When the time comes, our family will be reunited in the underground." After a few days of tossing and turning, third uncle has become so thin that he looks like a human. He comforted weakly. "Mom, don't say depressing words. I'm leaving. There is also Xiao Zhu to pay respect to you. You still have my wife. When the baby is born, you can let my wife remarry. She is still young." Before she finished speaking, Aunt San said excitedly that she didn't want to be with Long Po Po. She was so worried that she couldn't stop crying. "Don't worry. I will definitely treat her as my own daughter and marry her off in a grand manner." Long Po Po's father passed away early. 2 of her 3 sons died in accidents. Now the last one, Wang San, is about to pass away. The air was filled with a sad atmosphere. At this moment, I opened the door and walked in happily, holding tightly the little girl from the mountain. "The herbs I picked on the mountain, Uncle. I brought back the herbs." Grandma Long and the Strong Alliance asked me to go out. "Be good, Jewer, be careful not to infect you," I replied angrily. "I'm not afraid, I have the medicine." "Uncle, take the medicine. Let me tell you." I wanted to show the herbs to Uncle, but before I could run a few steps, the doctor grabbed me and said, "Little kid, do you know that the plague has spread to several nearby villages? Can a few broken herbs be useful?" The word stopped abruptly. As a doctor, he was not unfamiliar with herbs, but when he saw that I was pregnant, she said, I'm afraid of the disease. I hurried out. But this sentence I blurted out made her stand there in a daze. Remember to say hello to the sister in the well for me. Wen Yan. She was startled and turned her head to look at me and asked, What sister in the well? Xiao Zhou. Which well did you see it in? Go and tell Grandma quickly. I was born on a yin year, yin month, and yin day. I was born with good luck. I was possessed by a white ghost. In order to let me live, Long Po, who was a horse spirit, replaced me with a 1,000-year-old dragon skin and turned me into an ordinary person. I thought I grew up healthy and free from all kinds of troubles, but I never expected that when I was 5 years old, I actually saw a sister in red flying out of a well. When Grandma Long learned about this, she hurriedly asked if it was in. I recalled that it seemed that the elder sister flew out from Tian Laosi's house and lay on the back of the third uncle and licked his neck. After hearing this, the third judge was so scared that he suddenly realized, No way, is it Xiao Zhu? You saw it wrong, Mother, didn't you change his skin? You shouldn't see these things. When Granny Wrong heard this, she couldn't help but frown. Don't forget that her eyes are exposed. It's just right that Song is going to meet that dirty thing. About 10 minutes later, the three of them arrived at the door of Tian Laosi's house. Granny Long went up and knocked a few times. After a while, Tian Laosi opened the door doubtfully and came forward excitedly to tell the purpose of the visit. He said that Xiao Chai Hu Tang could cure this plague. The fever of several people who had just taken the medicine had subsided. After hearing this, Tian Laosi hurriedly pulled them in. Several people in our family fell ill this time. Come and watch the movie. Long Popo followed and observed the yard, but she shook her head solemnly. It was strange. There was no yin chi, or anything. She was confused. She drew water from the well again. After a while, it was still, I didn't find any problems. Could it be that Xiao Zhu saw it wrong? But soon after it was hung up, something strange happened. The originally intact wooden sword suddenly cracked and a faint smell of black water seeped out of it. I am the legendary lost child. Not only can I control the dead parrot mother to fight, but I also like to talk about life with the red-clothed female ghost in the dry well. In order to prevent the red-clothed female ghost from causing trouble, Long Popo was worried and took me to Tian Laosi's again. Little Jew, did you really see that sister again? I heard my grandma's childish answer. Yes, it's true. It happened yesterday. I shouted into the well. Sister, are you home? Grandma and I are here to see you. Seeing this, Grandma Long was in tears and laughter. The child's yelling must be a ghost. She had no choice but to take out a few copper coins and throw them into the well. With my old copper coins full of foreign style, she shouldn't be able to make any waves. When we got home, Grandma made delicious food for you. Grandma Wrong said, I'm going to make a delicious meal for you. As she said this, she pulled me away from here. As soon as we reached the door, I heard Mrs. Zhang urging, Go home quickly. Your daughter-in-law is about to give birth. Granny, Wrong and Wenyan's faces suddenly turned pale and they hurried back home. In those days when medical resources were scarce, giving birth was like walking through the gates of hell for women. It was not that easy. After a lot of trouble for most of the night, the baby was not born. While everyone was waiting anxiously, the midwife, Mrs. Zhang, suddenly ran outside with sweat all over her face. Hurry up and find a car to go to the hospital. The baby is in labor. Hearing this, the third uncle was stunned for a moment and hurriedly wanted to borrow a bullock cart. Grandpa Li went to prepare the money for hospitalization, but the midwife stopped him at this time. He said that he couldn't go to the town, but had to go to the big hospital in the county. Hearing this, Grandpa Li and the third uncle were dumbfounded because it was more than 300 miles from the village to the county. Even if there was a car, it would take at least the afternoon. The third uncle would definitely not be able to carry on such a long distance. Grandpa Li hurriedly asked if there were any other ways, but the midwife shook her head. If there were any other ways, I won't say anything about it. Sanzi's wife is now on the verge of death. When everyone was talking in confusion, I stood up and said that I had a way. Old D knew about my Lehigh alliance and called me aside to ask, Xiao Zhu, what do you have to say? Tell me quickly. I nodded and spoke seriously. 1 ounce of angelica, 5 coins of chest piercing, 8 coins of tortoiseshell, a ball of bloodfish, burnt ash to deepen the yellow flag, 4 ounces of water shoulder, and the guards opened. The drum powder. Before taking the medicine, give the death that Uncle Shui gave me to San Shen to hold a tablet in his mouth. It is certain that the third uncle likes it. She was so angry that she came forward and hugged my little Jew. You are willing to give away such a treasure. Your great kindness will be remembered by my uncle. After hearing this, I smiled darkly and said it was nothing. Then, with everyone busy, the Kaigusan was ready in a short time. After San Shen drank it, she gave birth smoothly. It was a girl. She was white, plump, and very cute. The mother and child were safe, and everyone was happy. My uncle happily came over. It was really beautiful. Her eyes looked like my wife. The midwife, Mrs. Zhang, wrapped the placenta in a basket. After leaving Long Popo's house, Zhang Sao suddenly felt confused and came to the door of Tian Laosi's house. Then she pushed the door and walked in. She took the placenta and threw it into the well. After doing all this, she turned around and left. Under the pale moonlight, a strange laugh came from the well. A moment later, a woman in red came out from inside. The midwife came in the middle of the night and came to a dry well. She threw the placenta that she was going to buy into it. Then a strange laugh came from the well. Suddenly, a sister in red crawled out of it. After she got up, she slowly floated towards Long Popo's house. The third uncle, who was happy to have a son, was very happy at this time. He held me in his arms and kept throwing me away and catching me again. Xiaozhu really helped a lot this time. Busy, book media, I love you in vain. I was in the air. In the dim moonlight, I suddenly saw the sister in red. She seemed to be afraid of something. It seemed that I had to teach you a lesson. So she quietly came to the side room and lit 3 incense sticks. She respectfully inserted them into the incense burner and asked the immortals in the earth hall to show up and help the disciples check the dirty things. When she finished speaking, the 3 incense sticks began to burn rapidly. In just a few breaths, they turned into incense ash. The dragon lady understood that this was the immortal family accepting her request. So the alliance bowed and performed a ceremony. After a while, a few lines of words appeared on the table. Cement, iron coffin, black water, life, 300. Seeing this, Grandma Long's face changed drastically. There were exactly more than 300 people in the village. Just as he was shocked, 2 more lines of words appeared on the table. Each one sweeps his own door, and the hidden blood repairs the tiles of others. Grandma Long was sweating profusely when she saw it, and quickly wiped the words clean with her hands. Even the ancestors advised her not to meddle in other people's business. What should I do? It's so difficult. Do you want to watch the dirty things harm people? After all, that's more than 300 lives. He was uneasy. He thought about it for a long time in the house. Finally, he sighed helplessly. It was not until dawn that he finally made up his mind and opened the door. When he saw Uncle Lee, he told him about it quietly. The things in the well were not easy to deal with. I'm afraid he would have to risk his life again this time. Uncle Lee understood the seriousness of the problem. The alliance suggested that they find a few people to seal the well. After hearing this, Grandma Long looked at the A's soon as it was bright. This was a solution. I would make some arrangements myself and must suppress the haunted house. Just when the two of them had discussed and were ready to act, they saw Uncle San coming to the yard quickly from a distance. He also brought bad news. Many people from Cheng came to help Tian Laoxi's family dig a well. They also brought machines from the town. The machine boss was very big. Hearing this, the 2 elders immediately realized that something was wrong. They reacted and rushed to Tian Laoxi's family. In the abandoned dry well, there was a 1,000-year-old power fruit suppressed. As long as he escaped, more than 300 people in the village would die if they were trapped and left the village. When the spirit Long Po learned that the villagers were going to dig up the dry well, she realized that something was wrong and rushed to the scene immediately. At this time, Tian Laoxi's house was surrounded by villagers who came to watch the excitement. Because there were only 2 wells in the entire Jiudao-gu, and there was another well outside the village, it was inconvenient for everyone to use water. It would be a good thing for the villagers to have one more well. Seeing Long Popo and Old Man Lee coming, Tian Laoxi smiled and explained, "Isn't this because Anjiaji just worked in the town?" This kid was concerned about the difficulty of getting water in our village, so he borrowed a machine from the town to dig a well. As soon as he finished speaking, Tian Laoxi's son Tian Jigang came out and said that it was all the government's credit. When the government heard that we had difficulty getting water, they immediately brought a construction team. Fortunately, we had machines. Our land was very difficult to dig. The machine only penetrated more than 1 meter. After hearing this, Grandma Long breathed a sigh of relief. They only dug more than 1 meter, so they should not have dug up the iron coffin yet. She wanted to stop the construction team from digging further, but before she could say anything, suddenly, she was pulled aside by Old Man Lee. "Can you stop them? Didn't you see that the government people have brought machines with them? If you dare not let them solve this problem, it is feudal superstition at best, and it is sabotaging revolutionary production and construction at worst. You, an old woman, can't afford it." Hearing this, Granny Long showed helplessness on her face. "Are you just going to watch them turn over the opportunity?" Old Man Lee asked. "Are you sure the dirty thing is really here?" Granny Long took out a red cloth-wrapped thing from her pocket. The mud ball wrapped in it is what I just picked up. This is the cement iron coffin. It must be underneath. What is cement? Old Man Lee was a little confused after hearing this. Then Granny Long put the mud ball close to her nose. The next second, the bloody smell of Shin Long came to her nose. Granny Long immediately explained that cement is a mixture of lime, clay, sand, and black dog blood. It is used to prevent corpses from rising or to suppress extremely evil things. Once it solidifies, it is very hard and can't be separated from water and fire. The iron coffin was covered with this cement. To suppress the things inside, you have to believe that iron is a dead thing and cannot communicate with yin and yang. The soul inside cannot get out. Burying a person in an iron coffin is like stewing a person in an iron pot and then adding cement on the outside. Tian Zhigang, who slept with her, was totally unaware. Xiao Zhao quietly came to the well-digging machine, opened the door, got on, started the machine skillfully, and began to dig the well. The rumbling thunder just covered the sound of the machine. Half an hour later, a strange laugh suddenly came from the well. Then a lot of well water kept coming out. The 3 copper coins thrown by Long Popo were also washed out by the water. At this time, Long Popo, who was sleeping soundly, was suddenly startled. Before she could catch her breath, Wang San pushed the door open and walked in. "My mother is in trouble. Someone has died in Tian Laoxi's family." Hearing this, Granny Long rushed over in her cotton coat. At this time, Xiao Zhao, who was sent to dig a well in the town, was already crying. The villagers gathered around him and begged him for help. Granny Long gritted her teeth and made up her mind to get rid of this scourge, even if it cost her life to protect our village. So she immediately ordered that from tonight onwards, no one was allowed to go out after 8 p.m., especially those who bumped into Xiao. The guys killed all the roosters and black dogs, bled them, and sprinkled the blood in front of and behind their houses. Those whose houses were not attacked by black dogs went to other houses to ask for food. At this time, everyone must help each other and cannot just think about their own families. Then Long Popo asked Zhang Shen to notify everyone to go to her house to collect incense ashes. After a while, the villagers lined up and came to Long Popo's house. However, there were too many people and not enough ashes. When Long Popo was overwhelmed, she thought of the pine tree in the yard and asked those who didn't get incense ashes to go to her house. The villagers took red cloth strips and went to the top of the snowy mountain to find the old pine tree. Each person pulled out a pine needle and carried it with them. Remember that each person can only pull out 1 pine needle. After pulling out all the needles, they must kowtow to the old pine tree sincerely. Then, in a place where even theft rarely occurs, death is a big deal. So the town sent Director Joe and Officer Zhao to the village to investigate the situation. As soon as they arrived, they ran into the villagers going to the snowy mountain to ask for the blessing of pine needles. Officer Zhao, who looked unhappy, stopped the villagers and said, "We want to be an idealist and believe in your leaders." Old man Li Wenyan showed his medals. Director Joe exclaimed and stood up immediately and saluted in a standard military manner. "Old General, it turns out that the old general who was entrusted by the higher-ups to be protected is you." Old man Li laughed and said, "What, old general? It's all in the past. I'm just an ordinary veteran now. If it weren't for the trust of you comrades, I wouldn't have taken these things out. Comrade Joe Leeming, I use these medals to enlighten the strange things that happened in this village. It is indeed related to ghosts. Are you willing to believe me?" After hearing this, Director Joe hesitated for a moment and answered loudly, "I understand. All actions will be under your command." Then several people rushed to Tian Laoxi's house. Cadre Zhao wanted to follow, but was directly treated to a meal by Old Man Li. At the command of Granny Long, the delicate and stained iron coffin was slowly pulled outside. "Everyone be careful. I'm going to open it," Director Joe said. "Dad," and rolled up his sleeves and pushed the lid of the coffin open. Granny Long looked at him. With a solemn look, she took out a handful of gold and silver and placed them in front of several people. As the iron coffin was opened, a foul smell suddenly filled the air. The coffin was full of black water. A naked woman lay quietly inside. The faint laughter of a ghost echoed in the ears of everyone. Grandma Long called a few people to step back and ran to the coffin to check it out. At this time, the black water in the coffin suddenly churned and seemed to be squeezed. The black water kept pouring out. After the light, the scene inside was also fully revealed. Everyone saw that the lady's palm was nailed to the bottom of the coffin. Grandma Long's face became more solemn. The immortal poem turned out to be an immortal poem full of resentment. Zhou Suo, the head of the wall, said angrily with disgust, "Who did this cruel and inhumane thing? I will find out the truth and give justice to the deceased." Just as she was speaking sweetly, there was a sudden thump from behind. Tian Laoxi's face was sluggish. He kept repeating the same sentence. "She's back to take my life." After hearing this, several people stood around for half an hour. After coming to their senses, Tian Laoxi finally told the long-hidden secret of the Tian family. It happened 100 years ago. At that time, our Tian family was a well-known wealthy family in this area. My grandfather married several concubines. The female teacher in the coffin was one of them. This woman was from a drama troupe. She was beautiful, but she was restless and hooked up with men everywhere. She even hooked up with the son of an official. When my grandfather knew about it, he took the prison fox in his arms. Later, he listened to the words of a Jianghu sorcerer and skinned the woman, pulled out her tendons, and imprisoned her alive in an iron coffin. This kind of scandal, especially when someone died, the old Tian family naturally would not make it public. Although Tian Laoxi knew about it, he had no idea where the coffin was buried. After hearing this, everyone looked at Long Popo. After all, she was a professional in handling this matter. At this time, Long Popo said, "I have just suppressed her with the gold and silver fan. She will be fine for now, but wait until dark. It's hard to say if the soul and corpse merge." Tian Zhigang asked in doubt what the soul and corpse merge was. Granny Long explained that those who had come out to cause trouble before were her souls. Now the corpse has been dug out. When her soul and corpse merge, she can't deal with it. However, as long as the female ghost's flesh body is burned in time, she won't be able to make any waves. After hearing this, several people dared not worry. The alliance was ready to fight fiercely. It was still too early. This just ruined half of her. The dirty things hated the old Tian family the most. Tonight, she will definitely come back to harm them. This is a perverted female teacher. She not only liked to hook up with men when she was alive, but also harmed all the young people in the village after her death. In order to save the lives of the whole village, Long Popo had to dig her out of the ancient well and burn her body with the blood-suppressing treasure. But doing so only ruined half of the ghost's way. After dark, she will still come out to claim lives. Because the female ghost hated the Tian Laoxi family the most, Long Popo decided to kill them, even if she survived. We must completely destroy her tonight. Time is running out. Before leaving, Long Popo respectfully offered incense and tribute to the temple. All the old ladies of the immortals have decided to fight the evil ghost tonight. If I die at the hands of the evil ghost tonight, please keep my family safe for the sake of my decades of worship. As soon as the words fell, the tablets trembled, and the incense in the incense burner quickly burned out. The incense went dark, and an assassin slowly appeared. Long Popo was delighted when she saw this. I kowtowed and thanked the immortal. When we got to the door, she looked at the pine trees again with tears in her eyes. "I'll leave the old house to you," she said. She turned around and left amid the rustling of pine leaves. At this moment, I suddenly called her. "Grandma, where are you going? Aren't you sleeping at home tonight? I'm sleeping alone. I'm afraid she'll see me looking silly." I tried to hold back my tears and comforted her. "Little Jew, good boy. A real man will have to sleep alone sooner or later. Little Jew, be obedient. If Grandma doesn't come back, don't forget her." After Grandma said this, she let me go and walked away quietly. In the dark night, I was looking at her back. Tears were streaming down my face. I couldn't come back. I didn't want Grandma to leave. I wanted to ask the Snowmaster uncle to help me wipe my tears. I plucked up my courage and quietly slipped out of the house and then headed straight for the snow mountain. When Grandma Long came to Tian Laoxi's house, she first sprinkled the whole yard with dog tooth bone powder and then used cotton thread soaked in black dog blood to hang copper bells and set up a soul-binding net in the yard. This was not a method of delivering a child, but a method he learned from a passing Taoist priest in his early years. Old Man Li also came here with a white slashing broadsword in his hand. Granny Long was moved when she saw him. "Are you sure you want to take a risk with me?" Granny Li nodded. "We have known each other for so many years. How can I be left out of this kind of thing? But this young comrade shouldn't have accompanied two old constables like us to gamble our lives." He looked at Director Joe while speaking. Director Joe patted his chest with a strange and firm look in his eyes. "I will do anything in my life except being a deserter. If a dirty thing comes, I will bite off a piece of his flesh." Granny Long was sincere after hearing this. He praised it with a smile, saying that it was the nemesis of the haunted house. He handed the rope to the other party with a smile. "Comrade Xiao Zhou, since you are so kind, then keep it. When something dirty comes later, you can use this to beat it." Director Joe took it over happily. Don't worry, I have never learned weaving, but I have a lot of strength. When the dirty things come, I will be the first to go. The night in the mountain village is very quiet, especially tonight. The servants, who are clean and straight, suddenly blew a gust of cold wind, and the bell hanging on the rope swayed. The ghost stood up, and Long Popo reminded them solemnly, "Here we are." Then they stared at the direction of the dry well. They saw a female ghost in red slowly climbing out of the well. Her body was supported by her immature arms. The cold wind blew up her sticky hair, revealing a face with musical features. She opened her mouth and stared at the few people fiercely, roaring, "You deserve to die! All of you, go to hell! This is an extremely wanton female ghost in red. She seduces strong men every night to suck their bodies. Oxygen, and every man who was sucked by her would die in a daze and contentment. In order to prevent the young and old men in the village from being killed by her, the shaman Long Po decided to destroy her here at the risk of her life." As the bell of midnight rang, the red-dressed female ghost slowly climbed out of the well. The cold wind blew up her thick hair, revealing her face with singing features. She smiled at Long Popo and the other two, and then rushed towards Tianjigang at a very fast speed. Long Popo saw this scene and felt something was wrong. She was trying to seduce the young man. Seeing that the female ghost was about to succeed, Long Popo immediately took out a bottle filled with black dog blood and said, "You beast, die!" She then poured all the black dog blood on the female ghost. With bursts of black smoke rising, the female ghost screamed and quickly retreated. At this time, Director Joe waved the bundle in his hand and suddenly pulled it towards the female ghost. But the female ghost laughed strangely and disappeared into the air. Just when Director Joe was stunned, Old Man Lee quickly reminded Xiao Zhou that the dirty thing was behind him. Hearing this, Director Joe felt a chill on her back. Before she could react, she was grabbed by the neck by the female ghost. Grandma Long took the black-headed shoes, and after that she ran over. However, the ghost girl laughed darkly and criticized me. "If you kill me, I won't be able to survive. Besides, even if I was struck by lightning, I would still sleep with such a top-notch girl." After that, she forcibly pulled off Chief Joe's pants. Old Man Li Wenyan looked at Grandma Long anxiously. "This ghost girl is going to attack Xiao Zhou." As soon as the voice fell, the coffin began to tremble slightly. The fierce words spread outside. "The disobedient and shameless thing must be taken away by the old woman today, you tell her." With her eyes tightly closed, she used her hands to perform a strange technique and stomped her foot 3 times. "Changba, please come in." The next second, a cold wind whistled, and Long Popo's eyes suddenly turned green. Changba Ye's melodious voice came out of Long Popo's body. "Didn't we agree not to meddle in other people's business? Why are you asking me to do something, old woman? I can't afford to mess with the things in the iron coffin." Hearing this, Long Popo quickly explained that the disciple didn't need you to fight with the dirty things. He just wanted you to push, open the iron coffin and rescue the people inside. Seeing that Master Changba was hesitant, he added a few more words. "This beast has been half destroyed by me. If I put a person, this beast will open its bloody mouth and want to swallow the other's head." At this time, the possessed Long Popo pushed Director Joe away from there, but her arm was bitten off by the female ghost. A piece of flesh and skin was bitten off. In great pain, Master Changba quickly retreated a distance. She wanted to run away, but she was worried that if she ran away, Long Popo would just promise her. The good plan was abandoned. After all, the boy surnamed Joe escaped from the coffin by himself. Master Changbai didn't help her. But if she didn't run, she really didn't have the courage to face the fierce, evil ghost. Old Man Lee stepped forward and asked her if she was okay. Master Changbei stared at the ghost's every move with a serious face. "Now it's okay, but it will be hard to say in a while. If it goes on like this, I, Changbai, will run away first." Hearing this, the old man was quite helpless. While Long Popo and others were in crisis, I, a young child, was also in danger. After I left home, I wanted to go to the foot of the snow mountain to find a snowman to save Grandma, but I got the basic direction wrong. After going around in circles, I ended up at Ant Mountain. In the dark night, I heard all kinds of strange noises from time to time. I was a little scared and always felt like someone was following me, but thinking about saving Grandma, I had to force myself to move forward despite my fear. I was shaking all over, and my injured leg was in great pain. I finally climbed up a small hill, but there was a cliff in front of me and no road. There were screams nearby. Far and near, sticky saliva kept flowing down. My legs were shaking. They surrounded me on the edge of the cliff with their eyes bare. I sat on the ground with my butt spread out and shouted for help. "Mother Master. Xue, where are you? Xiaoju is going to be eaten by wolves." Suddenly, there was a burst of laughter. 2 people staggered out from behind the tree. They were the ghost skins who came to cause trouble when I was just born. The wolves turned around and ran away after seeing the dirty things. The 2 ghost skins didn't. I ignored them, and they floated quietly in front of me. They looked at me with shining eyes and made strange laughter. "You didn't have it when you were born, so it's the same if you eat it now." Then they stretched out their hands and grabbed my neck. "What are you doing in this remote place in the middle of the night?" I raised my head with tears on my face. "You look miserable and pitiful." "Grandma, I'm here to find my mother and my eldest brother and uncle. I want them to help Grandma clean up the dirty things. Grandma, you are so powerful. Can you help Xiaoju?" As a ghost fairy who has practiced for thousands of years, Aunt Grandma is naturally very powerful. When she came here in the ghost sedan, the originally fierce ghost skin trembled instantly and then disappeared as if it melted. Grandma looked at my tearful face and well-behaved appearance, and she felt a little distressed. Then she knew that I was the thing in the old iron coffin, so she was not scared. As soon as Grandma finished speaking, the ghost sedan flew towards the village with us. At that time, Old Man Lee and his men were already in a desperate situation. Director Joe fainted on the ground, covered in blood. Old Man Lee stood in front of him with a big knife in his hand, and Granny Long was sealed in a coffin. When the pine leaves protecting her body were completely consumed, it would be the end of her life. Old Man Lee raised his knife to chop, but found that he had no strength at all. He could only smile bitterly, helplessly. The old man spent half his life in the army and did not die on the battlefield, but died in the hands of a beast like you. It doesn't matter if I die, but it's a pity that Comrade Xiaozhou was implicated. The female ghost was at this time. He rushed over with a smile. The black ghost claws grabbed Old Man Lee's chest directly, but just as the laughter of the Aunt Grandma and the scream of the female ghost reached everyone's ears one after another, the scream stopped abruptly and everything returned to peace. Seeing this, Grandma Long bowed respectfully. The old woman thanked Grandma Aunt for helping on behalf of all the villagers. If the iron coffin had run away, I'm afraid there would be endless troubles. Grandma Aunt smiled darkly and said, "No need to thank me. If I want to thank someone, I'd rather thank this little guy. Grandma, I only care about these troubles for her sake." Seeing me floating out of the ghost cult, Grandma Long and Old Man Lee showed doubtful expressions. Grandma Aunt then changed the subject and said, "You two old people are not stable. Today, my eldest grandson almost got hurt through his aunt. You must carry this dagger with you." I laughed and told her not to worry. School should be fine. While chatting, Grandma Long suddenly started to draw out. After a few seconds, her pupils turned into a strange green. The voice rang again, but it became sharper. "Your third kid dared to shoot me with a gun. Or 2 shots at that. Go to the West River and take her back. It's too late. Don't blame me for killing her." After saying this, Granny Long trembled again. It took a few seconds for her to recover. She said with a serious face, "Oh no. Help me to the West River. Your third uncle has caused trouble for half an hour." As expected, we found the unconscious third uncle by the river. The third uncle with a red and swollen face woke up after more than 10 minutes. "Come over," Mother secretly bumped into him. It's weird. Ban just wanted to shoot the yellow-skinned girl, but he shot twice. And before he could fire the third shot, the room exploded. Seeing her silly look, Long Popo went up and slapped her. "What yellow-skinned girl? That's Huang Xian. If it weren't for your mother's face, you would have. Let her old man kill her long ago. Go back and get some donors and apologize to Huang Xian. Got it?" When we said that, we turned around and walked towards the village. At this time, the weasel in the distance looked around in horror. The wind blew past, and a female ghost in red suddenly stretched out her pale hands. The ghost claws pinched him directly and then sucked his blood dry. After the female ghost finished all this, she looked at our backs with a sinister smile. After returning home, I looked at the look on Uncle San's face and was a little worried because the gunshot caused the flesh to get infected. Although it was not a big problem, it was necessary to reduce inflammation as soon as possible. We didn't have medicine to treat the infection at home. I had to go to the town to buy some. It was dozens of miles of mountain roads to the town, and we had to pass through the mass graves. Grandma Long was worried and grabbed a handful of incense from the incense burner. I was asked to take the incense ash with me and asked Tiger Boy from next door to wait for me. It was already late at night when Tiger Boy and I came back from the town. When we passed the graveyard, there were ghost lights floating on the graves, which looked particularly scary. Tiger Boy picked up the snacks on the table with a dazed look and ate them. My alliance walked over and grabbed her. At this time, people nearby turned around and stared at us angrily. We sat down to watch the show. When I saw their appearance, I immediately realized that something was wrong. Evil spirits blocked the road. This was terrible. There were so many evil spirits here. Even if Grandma's incense ashes can drive away ghosts and evil spirits, I don't think it will last long. Considering that I am no match for them, I can only quietly hold Grandma's incense ashes and wait and see. At this time, 2 young girls slowly walked over with an old lady in gorgeous clothes. She sat quietly at the table in the front, and then took the things on the table and kept stuffing them into her mouth. Later, due to the Tai Chi he ate, he covered his neck and began to cough violently. In the cough, his head. It fell to the ground with a gurgle, but her eyes were still fixed on Zitai, and she was still chewing non-stop. At the same time, the iron nail connecting the old lady's head and body also fell to the ground. There was a long chain at one end of the iron nail. I was shocked when I saw this scene. I didn't care about my fear and took out 2 silver needles to pierce the old lady's head. He entered the Bai Hui blood of himself and Hu Hua, and then he grabbed him while he was eating. He was about to escape from this hellish place in a hurry, but at this time, the iron chain on the old woman's head suddenly stretched out and went straight to. When I opened my eyes again, I found that I was back home. Grandma touched my head and comforted me, saying, "It's okay. As soon as you left, something went wrong with the incense in the incense burner. People are most afraid of 3 long and 2 short incense sticks, and they hate 2 short and 1 long incense sticks the most. I quickly asked people to go out and look for you. Fortunately, I caught up with you. When I found you in the mass grave, you were surrounded by incense ashes, and just fainted. Then I told her what happened. There were many evil spirits coming out of nowhere on the mass grave. Tiger Boy and I almost died. Grandma, look at those evil spirits. Ghosts still use these things to hit us. Let me take off the iron nails on my feet and hand them to him." After seeing them, Grandma Long's face suddenly changed. How could the doornails be such evil things? There shouldn't be such evil things in the graveyard. The things that happened one after another made Grandma Long have a bad premonition. She wanted to find the immortals in Tangku to ask clearly, but as soon as she opened the door, she saw 8 female ghosts carrying a sedan chair into the yard. Before Grandma Long could speak, Grandma Aunt snorted coldly and said, "No need to do that." I found my grandma. "Here I come." A bunch of bastards dared to bully my grandson. I'm waiting for them to settle accounts. As a ghost fairy who has been practicing for 1,000 years, the Aunt Grandma is not only powerful, but also extremely radical and protective. When she learned that I was targeted by the dirty things in Luan Fangang, she was furious, and immediately took a ghost sedan to Luan Fangang. Here the silver fell, but the surroundings were silent. There was no ghost at all, as if she had moved overnight. She ran quite fast. Well, in that case, I'll go find the culprit and settle the score, said Grandma. Dad sat there screaming, and rushed into the forest. He soon arrived at the river, where Uncle San met the yellow-skinned man. Where did the damn yellow-skinned man hide? If you hadn't bullied Wang San, how could my eldest grandson be harmed by that ghost forgetting? Medicine, ghosts, and animal fairies are all very paranoid. Aunt Grandma, you're bullying too much. Even if my child hurt Wang San, just teach him a lesson. You shouldn't have taken his life. Hearing this, Grandma, there was a hint of meaning in the grandma's tone. I didn't kill him, and you still said it wasn't you. But all the blood in my body was sucked dry. It was obvious that you ghosts did nothing. Grandma Wenyan sneered. I will never deny what I have done. Since you insist on biting me, I might as well confirm this crime. Wait for me to peel off your skin and give me some wine to replenish my body. That's it. Neither side could listen to the other's words. They just started to fight. Huang Xian gritted his teeth, and countless pairs of eyes surrounded him. Gather together and kill them all. We can't let this old witch bully us. This is the doctor's assistant who interrupted their actions. A cold wind blew over, and Changba. Yi's body blocked the two of them. Don't hit them. But as soon as he finished speaking, he was slapped twice and flew away. He rolled aside. Changba Ye curled up in a ball with grievance and began to complain to the Dragon Popo. I said I didn't come, but you made me come. Can I stop them? This slap made the real Dragon Popo as anxious as an ant on a hot pot. Ant, 2 helpers. I asked Master Ba to come and mediate. Stop fighting. There must be a misunderstanding, but others are not careful. Both sides are indifferent. Grandma Ant looked at him and said, Big sister, just watch the show and don't get involved. Huang Xian's family was cold and said, Old lady, this matter has nothing to do with you. Seeing this, Grandma Long was immediately anxious. What should we do? If we continue to fight, something serious will happen. Master Ba, do you have any solution? After hearing this, Master Ba muttered softly, Unless you ask my eldest brother to talk to her, it is no longer a single body. It has changed into its original form. Wait a minute, Tianke. I will be back soon. At the same time, in Grandma Long's house, my uncle's daughter, Xiao Yue, came to my bedside with medicine. But at this time, a ghost appeared outside the window and was staring at her, greedily. When I saw the makeup, I immediately shouted, Who is it? She was originally a 1,000-year-old ghost fairy with no moral integrity. She was powerful and worshipped by thousands of ghosts. But now, for a young man, she has monopolized the Huangxian family among the 5 great immortals. Seeing Grandma, Aunt, and Huang Xian, the fight between the immortals became more and more intense. Realizing that something was wrong, Grandma Long invited 8th Master to persuade them to marry. As a result, the weak 8th Master was also slapped several times. With no other choice, 8th Master could only go to find his own eldest brother. In Grandma Long's house, a female ghost greedily set her eyes on Uncle San's daughter. I was horrified when I saw this and hurriedly protected Xiao Yue behind me. The female ghost came into the house through the wall with a weird and gloomy smile on her face. Grandma and 8th Master are now. Although I was afraid, I still protected Xiao Yu tightly. But the ghost girl was very fast. She stretched out her hand and grabbed Xiao Yu. At this critical moment, the old man's song in the yard made a move. A golden light suddenly hit the ghost girl's arm. Seeing this, my face suddenly woke up. I hurriedly pulled Xiao Yue and ran out of the house. The ghost girl, who was hit hard, still couldn't give up. She chased us into the yard. At this time, Grandma Long and Grandma Ant happened to be. When I got home, the female ghost turned into green light and disappeared. The Aunt Grandma, who was already furious, suddenly ran away quickly. What ghost dared to bully Grandma? You wait, I will find her even if I have to dig 3 feet deep. After she finished speaking, she flew into the mountain with a roar. Grandma Long held the crying Xiao Yue and comforted her. Grandma, does the 8th Master have this ability? Just when I was wondering, the 8th Master smiled darkly and came to the yard. Who do you look down on? This time we are making peace. But when I said this, his alliance invited the eldest brother behind him to come out. The young man in white in front of him was the current head of the Cheng family, Cheng Huayuan, a being who had practiced for thousands of years and had already become a master. Cheng Huayuan's white clothes were whiter than snow. Hu was angry, but the only flaw was that his face was pale and he kept coughing. It seemed that he had suffered a serious internal injury. I was stunned when I saw this. You don't look like the 8th Master at all. He smiled slightly after hearing this. I'm sorry to make the young master laugh at you for being so useless. Cheng Huayuan just wanted to. He started coughing as soon as he spoke. Old 8, what's the matter with the dragon skin on this young master? Mr. Chang was shocked and wanted to explain. Cheng Huayuan was about to get angry when he suddenly noticed my earrings. He then took a deep breath and showed a relieved look. Old 8, you did a good job on this matter. Just when Mr. Chang was puzzled, Grandma Long came out with a stool. Thanks to the dragon skin that Mr. 8 brought, my grandson's life was saved. Mr. Chang, please take a seat. The Chang family, but our family. He is waiting for you. How dare you do that when Bai Shu Song is here? I came here today to tell Grandma Long that I saw with my own eyes that the royal child was indeed killed by ghosts. The only ghost fairy with such ability nearby is Grandma Ant. Grandma Long's face suddenly became solemn after hearing this. Is she here to ask for punishment? Among the 5 great immortal families, the head of the Chang family killed this Chang family boss. The current head of the Cheng family is very powerful. If she insists on standing up for the royal family, then things will be troublesome. Thinking of this, Granny Long hurriedly explained, I know the temper of Sister Aunt, the head of the Cheng family. She dares to do and take responsibility. If she did it, why would she go to the mountains to cause trouble for the Huangxian family? As soon as she finished speaking, the voice of Grandma Aunt came. It was the eldest sister who understood me, the eldest of the Cheng family. I didn't harm the little yellow skin. However, if his family wants to fight, Grandma will accompany him to the end. Although Chang Huayuan also suspected that there was a misunderstanding, the other major immortals had already identified Grandma Aunt as the murderer. 3 days later, after that, the Wu Bai, Huang Liu, Hui Wu, and Daxian families will collectively besiege Ant Mountain and demand that you pay with blood. Hearing this, the Ant Grandma sneered and said, Let them come over there. At worst, we can fight to the death. Chang Huayuan listened to the persuasion and said, Grandma, please be patient. The Yuan family has been resolved. There is still room for easing. Grandma Long's face was happy. Could it be that the head of the Chang family has a way? Chang Huayuan smiled and replied, Chang Mo came here this time to help both sides resolve the misunderstanding. Gu Bai, Huang Liu Hui, Wu the Daxian family, came out together to prepare for a big battle. Grandma Aunt avenged the children of the Huangxian family, but after hearing the news, there was no fear on her face. They were allowed to fight to the death. The eldest of the Chang family, Chang Huayuan, did not want to see this situation happen, so he tried to mediate. I have a little face with the 5 immortals, so it is better for Grandma to follow me into the mountains and explain the matter to you in person. No matter what the result is, I, Chang Huayuan, will send you back safely. After hearing this, Grandma Wrong, I am very happy. Thank you, Master Chang. Grandma replied expressionlessly. Young man from the Chang family, don't think I can't tell that you are intimidated by Shui and Mr. Song, but since you have this intention, I will go with you. Chang Huayuan didn't mind Grandma Ma's attitude. In that case, let's go now. He started coughing violently as soon as he finished speaking. I quickly stepped forward and asked the question in my heart. I haven't felt so happy in many years. The young master's skills are amazing, far better than those who are just famous for nothing. I feel a little embarrassed by the praise. Now it's just the blood stasis that has been removed, but it still needs medicine to regulate it. I'll write you a prescription. I took out a pen and paper and started writing, but when he saw the prescription, he was stunned on the spot. The other medicines were fine, but it took a long time for the old man to see the human face and guard these spiritual creatures. It's hard to find them for thousands of years. Even if they appear occasionally, it's hard for me to compete with them in my current state. He is one of the 5 immortals who went out to perform rituals. The head of the Chang family has been practicing hard. After thousands of years of accumulating virtue and doing good deeds, he was kicked by a thunderbolt after his failure. Although he saved his life, he was left with a disease that completely cut off his path of cultivation. After my thorough investigation, he finally expelled the chicken-year fish blood. But when he saw the radical cure I prescribed, he showed an embarrassment. After a long while, I thought, I am a good match for people, but I don't know whether I can use other medicines to replace the 2 medicines. I shook my head. Brother Chang has a special physique and has been injured for too long. The main medicine cannot be changed. After hearing this, his eyes gradually darkened and grew bigger. If there is no chance, such a spiritual creature will only appear once in 1,000 years. Even if it appears, it is very difficult to compete with my current state. I am Chang Huayuan, whose fate is bad. The young master's medical skills have been wasted. After hearing this, I hesitated for a moment, then turned around and ran into the house quickly, and then handed him a big box. Inside was the old jutsu, the human mask, and the hand house. These were all left to me by Uncle Jue. After Chang Huayuan received the relief money, he proposed to exchange the medicine for a large price. I laughed and said that I would send it directly. I gave it to him. Treating illnesses and saving lives is the most important thing. What's more, you are the eldest brother of the 8th master. How can I be stingy with this little thing? I am very grateful for your kindness. If you have any missions in the future, Chang Huayuan will not hesitate. After he said that, he looked at me deeply, and then turned his head to look at me. Granny Long, please set up a hall for me so that we can visit each other in the future. Granny Long Wenyan was very happy. It is an honor for me to have the head of the Chang family come to my house to serve as a hall. I will go and do it now, this great immortal who is hard to invite. With Grandma Ma and Chang Huayuan, Grandma Long will be the #1 spirit-returning disciple in the north. I scratched my head embarrassedly when I saw the makeup. Brother Chang, there is no need to do this. I just hope that Brother Chang can help Grandma clear the grievances on her body. Grandma was very happy to hear this. You are worthy of being my eldest grandson. Grandma's love for you is not in vain. Grandpa Chang Wenyan smiled slightly. Don't worry, you two, I have already made up my mind. Then he took us into the mountains. When we arrived at the destination, Grandma Long was a little curious. Does the head of the Chang family want to invite that person out? Uncle Chang nodded uncertainly. Who else could calm down this dispute except that person? I was full of doubts when I heard their conversation. Soon, a dark hole appeared in front of us. 4 heads of the Xian family were standing in front of the hole. They came by family. Immortals spoke to remind them. Huang family immortal snorted coldly. Boss of the Chang family, as one of the 5 immortals, how can you stand on the side of the Ant Grandma and help Zhou to do evil? Uncle Chang, this matter has failed. The matter has not been concluded yet. It's still too early. Chang and Aunt came here just to invite 3rd Master Hu. Don't you believe in 3rd Master Hu? Hearing this, several ancestors showed respectful expressions. They dared not dare. 3rd Master Hu will definitely stand on our side. I couldn't help asking Grandma Long who 3rd Master Hu was. He explained with a serious face that 3rd Master Hu was the leader of the world's spirits. I didn't expect that the head of the Cheng family actually invited Third Master Hu. It is said that Third Master Hu got the Tao from the Emperor Ren. So far, more than 5,000 years ago during the Shang dynasty, many spiritual animals were trained to become spirits. In order to gain power, the people in the area were living in misery. The Jade Emperor was furious and ordered the 5 thunder gods to lead the heavenly soldiers and generals to Changbai Mountain to annihilate all the monsters. Master Husan took the initiative to offer himself and kneeled to beg the god to spare all the living beings. However, the 5 thunder gods could not act on their own according to the Jade Emperor's order and insisted on annihilating all the monsters. I became even more curious after hearing this. The Alliance asked, then what happened? Master Husan was the first of the world's horse-riding immortals. Legend has it that he learned the Tao during the reign of Emperor Ren. It has been more than 5,000 years since the Shang dynasty. During the Shang dynasty, many spiritual animals were cultivated into spirits. This caused the people to suffer. The Jade Emperor was furious and ordered the God of Thunder to lead the heavenly soldiers to Changbai Mountain to annihilate all the monsters. Master Husan took the initiative to kneel down and beg the god to spare all the creatures. The little monster was willing to use his life's strength to transform all the monsters into righteous ways to show the virtue of heaven. This move moved the Jade Emperor. His figure was looming in the clouds. I have established the merits of the Red Courtyard Heavenly General. I hereby confer you the title of the leader of all the monsters in Changbai Mountain. You will lead all the monsters to forgive their sins. From then on, Master Husan naturally became the head of this Beihu Lake. After the transaction, Grandma Long looked at the cave entrance with expectation. As long as Master Husan can endorse Grandma Ant, she will be fine. At this time, Master Cheng bowed and asked Master Husan to make the decision. Several other immortals also knelt respectfully on the ground and asked Master Husan to make the decision. After a while, a voice came out from the cave. A vicissitudes of life and a great voice. I already know about this matter. This matter is not only related to the 5 great immortals, but also to Grandma Long and Grandma Ant. Hearing this, the immortals immediately turned their heads to look at Grandma Long. In the next few days, the villagers of Judaogu village found that the animals around the village suddenly became active, especially at night. Ghost lights flashed in all directions, and they could vaguely hear the sound of people talking. Foxes, raccoons, weasels, wolves, snakes, rats, hedgehogs. These animals did not seem to fight. It seemed like he was looking for something. Many villagers were frightened. Fortunately, Grandma Long came out to comfort everyone and told them that they would be fine as long as they did not leave the village. Unfortunately, the spirits and the aunt grandmother searched for half a month, but could not find any clues. Everyone had no other choice but to continue searching. At this time, old man Li suddenly fell ill. He was seriously ill. The doctors invited from the county were helpless. I tried various methods but could not make the old man's condition better. When he was in a coma, instead, he began to comfort me who was crying so hard. Don't cry, Xiaoju. The old man was very satisfied to live so long. He was the most admired veteran who had fought hundreds of battles. When he was alive, he killed the Japanese with a big knife. After his death, he was personally worshipped by the black and white impermanents. When he made me cry so hard, he smiled and comforted me. Don't be sad. I had been looking forward to reuniting with those old comrades. The only regret is that I couldn't see our Jewer go to college with my own eyes. The old man was in high spirits as he spoke. On the contrary, it feels much better. Bring me my pipe. I am strong. I feel even worse in my heart because I know it is the last ray of light. The old man took a long puff of Hanyan. Jewer, go turn on the radio. Grandpa wants to listen to Shajia Bang. Then the radio came out with the voice of Ching Sao singing. The old man recalled the war-torn years in his mind. He laughed, cried, fought, and had no regrets in his life. Finally, he sighed leisurely. When people leave, the tea gets cold. What do you mean by detailed or not? Old man, I don't have anything good. I'll leave these medals for you as a souvenir. But I have to take this knife with me, he said. And then, he drew out his big knife with great enthusiasm. The gold and jade are not in harmony. Starting a business is difficult, and there are many battles. This time, I went to the rescue department of Taiwan and was amazed by 100,000 yan luo. I could no longer suppress the sadness in my heart. I lay on the bed and cried. The dark impermanence clasped his fists and returned the greeting. Then, they led the old man away from here. When the time came, look at your feet. There was no guest. In on the Yellow Spring Road passing by me. There was a white figure next to me. Suddenly, he spoke. Young sir, I know you can see us and hear us talking. Thinking of your ancestors' merits, I remind you that the purple river cart of your little girl was taken by a lonely ghost to practice evil magic. Find that guy and kill him. The little girl won't live past 18. I was slightly stunned when I heard this. Thank you both for pointing me out. Hei Wu Chang Wenyan slowly spoke. No need to thank us. If one day you can solve the mystery of the womb, then our relationship today will be easy to talk about. A gust of wind blew past. The old man and the 2 figures disappeared here. The cold wind sent snow and the snow was still the same. I stood there for a long time without coming back to my senses. He was a mystery. Who am I? What happened to my ancestors? In the blink of an eye, it was time to open. On the day of school, I ranked first in the high school entrance examination and was at the top of the class. Tiger Boy from the village came to school with me. He saw that I was unhappy and asked what happened. I sighed helplessly. Since Grandpa left, Grandma has been in a bad mood. I was very worried about him. If it weren't for Grandma's insistence, I wouldn't want to report today. In a daze, I accidentally bumped into a classmate, so I said sorry to him. But he still didn't let it go. How can an apology be okay? Since Grandpa left with black and white impermanence, Grandma's spirit suddenly became worse and worse. Although I was admitted to high school with the first place in the whole class, I was worried about Grandma's health and didn't want to report. In the end, I couldn't resist her insistence and came to the school. But life here doesn't seem to be smooth. On the first day I arrived, I met someone who was looking for trouble. The tall Chen Daji arrogantly blocked my way. Are you the one who got the first place in the whole class? It doesn't seem to be a big deal. I really don't understand what those girls like about you. I don't want to cause trouble. I smiled and responded. I wanted to leave as soon as I heard the sound, but he grabbed my collar. There was no way I could leave unless you had a fight with me. When I saw my sword, my eyes got scared and lowered my head to call me Grandpa. When I heard this, my grandpa's teaching came to my mind. Martial arts must be learned. Men in our family don't bully others. But they must never be bullied. Since you insist, then come over here. After hearing this, he immediately swung his fist and hit me in the face. I just turned slightly and I dodged and then went around behind him before he could react. I grabbed his wrist with a move of chinna. Then I increased my strength and he was in pain. After a while, he cried and admitted defeat and begged for mercy. I will never let you go next time. I strode away from here. But at this time, he knelt on the ground with a plop and shouted, "Brother, please accept my greetings." This is the first time I have seen such powerful kung fu since I was a child. From now on, you are my big brother. I was helpless. There is no need to defend myself. I don't know any martial arts, but he just held my legs and refused to let go. Don't lie to me. You were so powerful just now. You just smashed me to the ground and made a hole. After hearing this, I explained that it was because you were too important. Chen Daji didn't believe it. I led him to the big pit, and then I saw clearly that there was a white skull in the pit. The female classmates around screamed, "Someone died here. I heard that this place used to be a mass grave." Chen Daji wanted to show his manliness. He raised his foot and shrank. With a bang, he kicked the skull out of the wall. What's there to be afraid of? Go, you! Seeing this, I was speechless. Time passed quickly. I was about to go to sleep after washing up. Chen Daji, who lived in the lower bunk, felt guilty. He wondered if the thing he kicked during the day would come back to retaliate against me at night. If he came to find me, I would pay more money. Would this matter be okay? He didn't even know if the money he brought was enough to pay. I looked at him and smiled darkly. Why did he want to be a hero with such a small courage? Besides, how could dirty things be? You want money? Dirty things cost your life. After hearing what I said, he was so scared that he had diabetes. He shook his body and asked me what to do. When I shook my body, I suddenly felt something was wrong. Why didn't my earring move? My earring was gone. The day I was born, I was robbed by the white ghost. In order to let me grow up safely, the general of the Snowmaster pinched the iron chain on my body into earrings and put them on my ears. But I didn't expect that this important thing would be lost today. I quickly got up and went out to look for Zhang Daji. Jian Zhuang also wanted to join in and said that he wanted to find Bai Tian's skull, apologized to him, and put him to rest. We came to the playground where Bai Tian had fought and started to turn over the ground. By chance, we found the trace of the earring under the soil. I breathed a sigh of relief and put it on my ear again. At this time, Chen Daji also held up the skull in his hand. It was this buddy. I remember him very well. He was holding the skull and was about to walk towards me, but he didn't notice the stone under his feet, and accidentally I fell down, and the skull in my hand was crushed to pieces. Chen Daji felt like crying, but couldn't. He asked me pitifully, "Even if I pay for the broken skull, this gentleman won't forgive me, right?" It was a difficult question for me to answer. After hesitating for a long time, I said, "I don't know. How about I ask him for you tonight?" After we left, there was a chattering sound on the playground. There were men, women, old and young. What was that thing that pressed us down? It was so uncomfortable. Fortunately, it was picked up by someone. Otherwise, we would have been miserable. He has been dead for decades, but the underworld still can't bear it. When will I try this day? Today a kid kicked my head off. I must go and scare him. You are the one who can't stand the impact of yang energy. Our souls will fly away. Don't make a fuss. The Taoist priest is here. Under the moonlight, a ghost dressed in Taoist costumes rose from the ground. His face was kind and not scary at all. He also exuded a calming aura. After a long time, he began to recite the Taoist Taiyi Juku Junan Tianzun Chao Du Sutra. The ghosts calmed down after reciting the scriptures. It was so comfortable. The Taoist priest started to save us again. He didn't stop until the cock crowed and dawn. The Taoist priest also went back to the underground. Time flew by. In a blink of an eye, it was Friday. The 6 people in the dormitory had already known each other. That night, Chen Daji suggested that everyone drink some wine together. Anyway, we can sleep more tomorrow. When we wake up, we can go home directly. He shook the thermos in his hand. This kid is very smart. In order to prevent the teacher from finding him on the road, he deliberately, the 6 people who used the thermos to fill the cups, started drinking with peanuts. After a few glasses of wine, the atmosphere gradually became heated. Someone suggested that the people in our dormitory should just become sworn brothers. So I, who was the best student, was elected as the boss. Chen Daji became the second because he was the richest. The other 4 were unwilling to accept it. Everyone wanted to be the third. In fact, in the minds of men, the third sounds much better than the second. Seeing that the dispute could not be settled, Chen Daji rolled his eyes and came up with a bad idea. Let's compete with courage and go to the gym together. Digging up the bones of the dead on the playground, whoever digs up the most will be the third brother. In the 1990s, most of the old graveyards would be built into schools or military camps. Hundreds or thousands of people gathered together, and no matter how fierce or dirty the things were, they dared not show their heads. 15 or 16-year-old teenagers are born with courage and are not afraid of tigers. They dare to try anything. Tiger Boy suggested that everyone compete in courage and go to the playground to dig up the bones of the dead together. Whoever digs up the most will be the third brother. After 3 rounds of drinking, everyone was drunk and confused. Let's go. Who is afraid of who? So the 4 of them walked towards the playground with their arms around each other. I was still a little sober when I walked over. I vaguely felt that doing so would cause trouble. I wanted to stop it, but Chen Daji pulled me back. Boss, don't worry about them. I kicked a skull as a ball a few days ago. It's okay. I can just help them pay some money. Anyway, I have money. When he pulled me like that, the alcohol instantly went to my head. I fell into a deep sleep with a daze. I don't know how long I slept. I was awakened by coughing. I opened my eyes despite the headache. This time I found that it was already 1 o'clock in the morning. Guwa and the others still hadn't come back. I was suddenly filled with anxiety. With a bad feeling, the Alliance bit Daji beside him to wake him up. Chen Daji was half asleep. If he didn't come back, he didn't come back. Maybe he was too lazy. Should I squat for a while? After hearing this, I gave him a big slap. What a mess. They went to dig up dead bones and didn't come back. After hearing this, Chen Daji woke up instantly. I was like, fuck, they won't be in trouble, right? Then we both hurriedly went out with flashlights to look for them. It was strange that the footprints didn't stop at all along the way and extended all the way to the playground wall. It was obvious that Tiger Boy and his 4 companions had jumped over the wall. Realizing that something was wrong, our Alliance climbed over the wall and found several footprints heading deep into the mountains. Chen Daji and I followed the footprints and found that just after we left, countless strange things suddenly floated out of the ground. Among them, an old ghost with a cane took a breath and said, "It seems that something big is going to happen. Just now, the human skin lantern took away 4 people, and now 2 more people are going to go in. Taoist priest, you'd better not meddle in other people's business. The human skin lantern is very fierce. We can't afford to offend these people." The Taoist smiled slightly. I knew what was going on. Besides, this young man might not need my help. We climbed over the hill and came to an old tree. The footprints of Tiger Boy and the other 2 disappeared here. Could it be that Tiger Boy and the others deliberately scared us and climbed up the tree? Before I could say anything, a black sound suddenly came from the forest. Then, 2 pale lanterns floated up and down from the forest. There were 2 blood-stained lanterns written on them. A foul smell came from the rich family, and I was somewhat relieved. Chen Daji looked at the lantern, and his eyes gradually blurred. Then the police followed the lantern and ran quickly into the depths of the Huaishu forest. I saw that I had hit a big policeman, so I hurriedly chased after him. But the deeper into the Huaishu forest, the darker it became. I was running, and suddenly my feet were empty, and I fell into a bottomless black hole. 2 lanterns made of human skin were floating in the air strangely. There were also bursts of foul smells from the lanterns. Chen Daji, who was confused, followed the lantern into the Huaishu forest. I saw a policeman, and he chased me. The deeper I went into the Huaishu forest, the darker it became. As I ran, I suddenly felt empty under my feet and fell into a bottomless hole. But after I landed, I didn't feel any pain, but felt something below. "Boss, your butt is sitting on my head." Seeing Chen Daji's horrible appearance, I was embarrassed and apologized repeatedly. Half of his front teeth were broken. When he spoke, he was angry and leaked. "Boss, am I disfigured? So many blood gates. Master Ben will have to rely on his face to make a living in the future. This family said that he wanted to wipe the blood off his face with a tissue." I waved my hand to stop him. "Don't move. The blood-raising device can prevent dirty things from getting on you." Chen Daji's face turned pale after hearing this. The Alliance spread the blood on his face evenly. The cave we fell into was about 10 meters deep. We tried for a long time, but failed to climb out. We had no choice but to explore the cave. Unexpectedly, the cave became wider and wider as we walked further. After turning the corner, we found a mansion of a wealthy family. The human skin lantern that attracted us was hung above the door. Chen Daji's face fell instantly. It was terrible. We had fallen into a den of ghosts. I nodded solemnly. The tiger cubs were probably also covered in human skin. The lantern was led over. We had to go in and save people. At this time, Jia made a sound. The door was opened from the inside. A foul smell came to our faces. A woman in ancient costume with a rat head slowly stuck her head out. "This is a dirty thing formed by the soul of a ghost or animal attached to a dead person." I pulled Chen Daji and walked into the door quietly. The ghost inside did not make things difficult, but just stood there and laughed eerily. The ground in the yard was crawling with dense corpse worms, and there was no place to stay. The place where Chen Daji and I could only step on it with our heads held high. The corpse worms that were stepped on made a snapping sound and then exploded into a mess. We arrived at the main hall without any danger. There were 2 coffins placed vertically in the main hall, and a big talisman was hung in the middle. Hu, Hua, and Zhang Shun were leaning on the chairs and smoking Water Eagle happily. Chen Daji was a little angry when he saw this, and he reached out to pull me. "Fuck. I have been looking for you all night, but you are smoking in this damn place. Come, back with us quickly." I hurriedly stopped him and told him not to go over. They were possessed by the dirty things. In my eyes, the 2 people presented a different scene. The dirty things were a middle-aged couple in ancient costumes. The male ghost looked very familiar, but I just couldn't remember where I had seen him. Through the yin-yang eyes, I also saw the other 2 roommates in the coffin next to them, being pressed down by the corpses of the male and female ghosts. At this time, the 2 powerful ghosts controlled their bodies and came over. Before I could think too much, I pushed Chen Daji out. I entangled them. "You rush to my house as quickly as possible and ask Grandma to ask Big Brother to come and save me." Chen Daji gritted his teeth and refused my kindness. "Boss, you run first. I'll cover you." Dad punched himself in the nose and blood spurted out instantly. "Before I bleed dry, you bring people back to save me." "Where did he come from?" "I'll fight. You." Chen Daji burst out with a fierce force and punched the male ghost opposite. This kid usually likes to fight, so he is more agile. After beating the male ghost, he hit another one. The punch hit the female ghost's face. The 2 evil ghosts hit by him both fired 7 bullets and then left the bodies of Hu Hua and Zhang Shun. Damn, am I that strong? He himself didn't expect that his fist would have such a great power. I was very excited to see this. At this time, I realized that he was a pure yang body. I didn't have time to explain. I hurried forward and smeared his blood on the eyebrows of the 2 people. After a while, they woke up and shouted, "Don't stand there! Come and save people quickly!" With my personal efforts, everything in the coffin was moved out. The female ghost screamed as if she would explode at any time. I quickly asked Chen Daji to smear some blood on her forehead. After doing all this, the 2 ghosts really stopped moving. Then we carried the 2 unconscious people and ran outside. The corpse worms in the yard surrounded us like a tide. Chen Daji took out a lighter and set his clothes on fire. The lion worms were afraid of fire and made way for us. The ghost beast at the door blocked us. I accelerated suddenly and crashed into it. Suddenly, the shadows of Ching Song and Chu Long appeared around him. The ghost beast screamed and flew out. Seeing our four-member alliance running to the door, the human skin lantern at the door chased us closely. We could only continue to speed up and run for our lives. However, as we ran, a lot of fog suddenly emerged around us. The leader, Hua, was tripped by a stone and fell to the ground with a thump. Chen Daji Alliance stepped forward. Finally, we returned to the outside of the school wall. At this time, the sky was gradually getting brighter. I showed my respect to the Taoist floating in the distance and said, "Thank you for saving my life." The Taoist smiled and disappeared, without saying a word, but this action frightened Chen Daji. "Old man, who are you talking to?" As soon as the man lit the incense and put it in place, it suddenly snapped and broke into two pieces. Grandma Zhuang was shocked. Not long ago, with the help of the Taoist priest, we returned to school safely. When I explained to Chen Daji that I could see ghosts, I wanted to go home to find my grandma to tell her about the haunted house. Chen Daji took out his mobile phone and called his father to come over. Half an hour later, a black car really came to us. Under the envious eyes of my classmates, in the middle, Chen Daji and I got in the car and left. This kid was very curious about the spirit world and insisted on going home with me to learn more. Chen Daji's father was called Chen's father. He looked like a nouveau riche. He first went to a police station to pick up the chief of the state police station and rushed to the village. When the car arrived at the entrance of the village, it happened to be a funeral. After asking around, we found out that Tian Laosi had died. It was said that he died in a very tragic way. Suddenly, he was afflicted with a strange disease. In a few days, he was in a terrible condition. He went to the county hospital, but there was nothing he could do. Chen Daji kept asking, "Is there a ghost?" Director Zhou laughed. "If there is a ghost, it can't escape from the palm of Grandma Long's hand. Since then, I have brought the incense ash bag given by Grandma Long to any scene, and I am not afraid of it anymore." Hearing such a magical thing, Father Chen was a little embarrassed and asked, "Old man, can I also ask for an incense bag?" Grandma smiled and agreed. "You go and burn some incense to the immortals, and then you can ask the incense ash to go away." Hearing this, Father Chen respectfully lit 3 incense sticks, but just as he put the incense in, something was wrong. His voice broke in the middle. Grandma was shocked and asked him seriously if he had done anything against the law. Father Chen turned pale with fear. After thinking carefully for a long time, he leaned close to Grandma's ear and said that he had secretly raised a mistress. He didn't know if it counted. Grandma was almost angry and laughed. It really didn't count. But the old woman reminded you that a harmonious family is the best. But apart from this, Father Chen really didn't do anything else out of the ordinary. Seeing that she couldn't find out anything, Grandma gave up the axe she had provided for decades. I handed it to him and told him to take it back and hang it in the house and worship it every morning and evening. If you find anything wrong, come to him immediately. Father Chen thanked him profusely and insisted on giving him money. Grandma glared at him unhappily. "I helped you because Juna and Daji were classmates. You should do more good deeds to repay me." Time passed quickly. After dinner, I got into bed with Chen Daji, but I couldn't sleep no matter how I tossed and turned. At this time, a cloud suddenly appeared. The wind blew in from the window, and then the voice of the Aunt Grandma was heard. "Grandson, Grandma is here to see you." 8 female ghosts lined up in a sedan chair and slowly landed in the yard. The female ghosts then bowed together. "Your servants pay their respects to the young master. I am not used to this kind of ancient etiquette." The alliance returned. The greeting. At this time, a female ghost said in person, "Young master, someone is peeping, but you need your servant to catch him for you." When I heard this, I was stunned, and turned around to see Chen Daji looking at this side with a crazy look on his face. My alliance stepped forward to block her. Then a welcoming laugh reached my ears. "Young master, don't worry. I will solve this matter for you." Suddenly a puff of green smoke drifted past. Chen Daji became drowsy and lay back on the bed. I turned around and saw Changhua Yuan and 4 strangers appear in the yard. Before I could say anything, they took the initiative to speak. The 5 of us first came to thank the young master. Then several people began to introduce themselves. The old man's surname was Chang Shu, who is named Hu Qingshan. The woman with a sturdy figure is named Huang, and her name is Huang Wan. She was the one who made the move just now. The big man next to him is named Bai, and his name is Bai Wu Wei. The last one is a middle-aged man with a big head and a big brain. His name is Hui Lao Liu. I used to use my medical skills to treat small animals nearby, including their offspring, so they came to express their gratitude. Of course, the Zhu family general also played a role. I bowed and said, "You're welcome. Treating illnesses is just a small favor." After the greetings, Grandma got down to business. "We came here for Xiao Yue's matter and for your encounter last night. I asked the Literary Federation if there was any progress on both matters." Changhua Yuan shook his head and said no. "I'm really sorry. I still have no clue about my sister's matter. We have been searching for so long, and that guy seems to have disappeared into thin air. I have no clue, but we heard about the incident in the back mountain. We have a way. When it comes to this, Huang Wanner came up and explained with a smile that the mountain where the ghost couple is located is under the control of the Huang family. They are from the same village as the young master. If I remember correctly, their surname should be Tian. Those 2 were not good people when they were alive. I didn't expect that they would not be quiet even after death. The iron coffin destroyed by the ant lady 10 years ago was made by these 2 people. When I heard this, I suddenly realized that no wonder the male ghost looked so familiar. It turned out to be the ancestor of the Tian family, Hui Laoliu. Then said that the couple listened to the words of the evil man and cut off the face of his second wife, peeled off her skin, and put her in an iron coffin. Even if the woman was wrong, the means were too many. I guessed that the evil man was jealous and deliberately came up with this idea. Yi Bai Wu Wei asked doubtfully, why would he be jealous of a woman? Of course, it was because the evil man was also a woman, and a particularly ugly woman. After hearing her words, I fell into thinking. At this time, several immortals decided to help me vent my anger. I let Grandma Ant and Chang Hua Yuan stay at home to take charge, and the other 4 immortals went to settle accounts with the evil ghosts. Before I came back to my senses, several immortals had already headed towards the town. At this moment, Grandma Ant smiled darkly and spoke in the direction of the house. Xiaobi ate alone, pure yang body. No wonder you woke up so quickly. You also peeked out. You are a bit embarrassed to be discovered. Chen Daji explained that he did not peek intentionally. What is the old immortal pure yang body? Chang Hua Yuan smiled and explained. Born on the day of pure yang, the nature is like a raging fire, the life is like a steel knife, and the evil is unknown. Speaking of this, Chang Hua Yuan couldn't say anything when he saw his rich sister. When it was almost dawn, the 4 great books and Ma Xian's family rushed back, but they were all in low spirits. Some of the Zhuyu were even surprised to see people. I was stunned when I saw this. Could it be that the action was not smooth? Bai Wu Wei sighed and said, young sir, we didn't find any evil ghosts after we arrived, so Zhuyu came back to see you. These 2 things were found in the evil ghost cave. Huang Wan then spoke up. Tomorrow, the head of my family will personally take action to capture the evil ghost and give it to the young master. Grandma looked carefully for a while. The corpse binding and human skin lamps were indeed a big deal, but these were Maoshan methods. How could they appear in our northern country? Could the Maoshan Taoist priests be the evil Taoists who gave the Tian family's ancestors the idea? Not only me, but several other immortals have also realized this. Bai's immortal Bai Wu Wei said, coldly. This incident was all caused by the old Tian family. Let's start with his family and investigate carefully. If we still can't find the guy who was mistreated by the underground, let's cut his neck together. Time passed quickly. Director, Zhou found Grandma early in the morning. She came to inform that someone had dug a big hole in Tian Laoxi's grave. The body was gone. The strange thing was that it didn't look like it was dug by someone. It looked like the person inside had crawled out by himself. She followed the footprints and chased them to the door of Tian Laoxi's house. The footprints disappeared. After hearing this, Grandma hurried to the cemetery. As soon as she arrived here, I saw Tian Laoxi's wife crying. Grandma grabbed the soil on the ground and put it in her hand and smelled it. It's not good. It's a zombie. Director Zhou hurriedly asked what to do. Grandma replied solemnly, notify every household. Starting today, no one is allowed to go out at night. We have a tough battle to fight. Chen Daji was a little curious. Grandma asked, what is a zombie? Is it the kind of zombie that jumps around on TV? Grandma shook her head and explained that a zombie is also called a zombie. It is not a resurrection, or a zombie, but refers to a person who has died and then resurrected. I have to go back as soon as possible to prepare things. When I got up, Grandma Shai said, let's go, and turned to leave. I was just about to follow her when I suddenly felt someone pulling my trouser legs. I looked down and saw a big gray rat. I realized it was Gray Lao Liu looking for me. I quickly followed the rat into the woods in the distance. Sure enough, I found that he was waiting here. Sixth brother, do you have something to ask me? I am not worthy of being a little gentleman. A song said, let's go. A sad look appeared on his face. I am today. I came to tell you about the incident in the Tian family. The child sent out to find the evil spirit yesterday saw Tian Laoxi crawling out of the grave and walking home in the middle of the night. Unfortunately, when I arrived, I saw nothing. The child who lost his virginity was also dead. He was strangled to death and his blood was sucked dry. After saying this, Hui Lao Liu looked at the mouse in his hand and his mood was obviously depressed. This was his own son. Seeing that someone in the Huixian family died because of the involvement, I couldn't bear it in my heart. I went up and touched him and said, I'm sorry because my family's affairs have been involved. After you go back, I will ask Grandma to... I'll set up a tablet for you in the temple and ask you to continue to protect the peace of the village. The moment my hand touched the little mouse, a faint white light floated out of the little mouse's body and floated around me happily. Gray Lao Liu's eyes widened in disbelief. How could this be possible? Only the emperors of the world or the great supernatural beings could give the animal cultivators the wind. After the wind is right, they can be transformed into the demon, wind god. The little master said, my child didn't need to practice for 1,000 years to become the god of incense and fire. Who is the little master? Even if he is a 5-star master, he is still a genius. My family couldn't do it either. Fengzheng, a little demon, looked at my back as I left. He couldn't help but feel a little lucky. He secretly made up his mind that when I returned home, I would recognize Yao Xian as my master. Since ancient times, only emperors or great supernatural beings could bless animal practitioners. Fengzheng. But I just said something unintentionally, and it exempted the little mouse from 1,000 years of practice and directly achieved the status of a god of incense. When I got home, I told my grandma about this. Although grandma didn't know why. The gray line could come to protect the village. But it's a great thing. We have to repair the village temple as soon as possible. At this point, Grandma looked worried again, because repairing the village temple would cost a lot of money. Chen Daji next to him laughed and said that if he could solve it, he could just ask my dad. He was so poor that he only had money left. But the most urgent thing was to solve the troublemaker first. If he wasn't found, the people in the village would definitely suffer. Just after we finished our meal, a black car stopped at the door. It was Chen Fu who came to pick up Chen Daji and me to go back to school. Before leaving, I tell Grandma if you have any problem. Please let me know if I need you. I will come back to help. Grandma shook her head and said it was okay. A mere revelation could not do anything to her. But I always felt that things were not that simple. On the way back to school, Chen Daji told his father about the village temple. As expected, Chen's father agreed without hesitation. This is a good thing for Jean Day and must be done. While chatting, I noticed the jade on his neck. Speaking of this thing, Chen's father was a little proud and put the jade in his mouth. I kissed him and said he dug it from his own mine. Someone checked it out and it was an ancient jade from the Han Dynasty. I don't know why this ancient jade gave me a cold and gloomy feeling, which made me feel uncomfortable. Uncle Chen liked it so much, so I should find out before telling him. Soon it was time for class. Chen Daji shamelessly begged the class teacher to get what he wanted, and he was assigned to sit at the same table with me. The high school curriculum was very intense, but Chen Daji was not in a state of studying. He was sighing all morning. I asked him what was wrong, and he blushed. He said with a straight face that he wanted to pursue the goddess in his heart. Lian also said that he had picked her out. She had a big butt, big breasts, and was very elegant. As he was talking, he took out a love letter and asked me to help him deliver it. Boss, I beg you. You have good grades and are handsome. If you deliver it, Lian will definitely accept it. If I deliver it, he might just throw it into the trash can. Seeing his amorous look, I agreed. Boss, you are such a good person. He said this. His eyes suddenly became gossipy. Boss, do you like any girl in our class? I shook my head after hearing this. I haven't even met everyone in the past few days since school started. How can I have a favorite girl? Chen Daji smiled and said, I think most girls are not worthy of you. Wait until the end of class. After he had an idea, he couldn't wait to stuff the love letter into my hand. Boss, please, go tell Li Yun. Dad pushed me over, but accidentally bumped into a female classmate who was coming towards me.